Good morning, Twitch.tv. Good morning to YouTube as well. And of course, good morning, mini Motorways. Let's go to Manila for today's daily challenge.
Good morning.
Goog morning, Leah Fireheart, 27 months in the Goog troop. Leah, how has it been 2.25 years of you being able to drop all those lovely tier 1 emotes? It is astounding. Thank you, Leah Fireheart, for 27 months in the Goog troop. And hey, if you are watching me, you should also be following Leah Fireheart, a tremendous Twitch streamer. Does cooking streams, does cozy gaming, does not so cozy gaming, has an adorable puppy dog named Chester. I command you to follow Leah Fireheart. Samurai Sam has said that my channel is a wrestling museum, which, I mean, no. Listen, I'm not special. I'm just a dude who remembers shit and has a button that says this. Glorious. I do have a button that says that. That's nice. Here, let's take 2 traffic lights. We started with 4 roundabouts today, so it's a goodly number of roundabouts. We'll run these reds down here like so. Take a bit of a longer route going that way. Oh, big stretch. Big stretch. Also, I suppose there is a wrestler who says now, so that's great. I have a button that says that. I don't think there are any wrestlers that say in space. At least not as far as I know. But, you know, it could be eventually. Absolutely could be. There's no law saying there can't be. All right, let's run slightly differently with these reds. We're going to come down this way and then that way with them. That in turn will allow these light blues to run down like so, and we maintain 1B1R. Hooray. Hit that 1B1R button. Do you know what sucks? What sucks? Hulkamat. We'll get back to what sucks. Hulkamat has asked for the Goog's top 3 bagels that he should get for breakfast. And this is Hulkamat essentially asking, what are the Goog's favorite bagels? And the good news is the Goog likes 3 and exactly 3 bagels. That's not necessarily true, but I'm a fan of a cinnamon raisin bagel. I'm a fan of like a maple sugar bagel. I don't know if you can get a maple bagel. I'm a fan of a plain bagel, honestly. Sesame seed, you can't go wrong. But if you want me to put it into a top 3, specifically for breakfast, and if it's just a bagel, I wouldn't get a breakfast sandwich on this. But if it's just a bagel, I'm gonna say my top 3 are sesame seed, plain, cinnamon raisin. There you go. Now, if you're getting a bagel sandwich, I wouldn't get a bagel sandwich on cinnamon raisin. I've never had a blueberry bagel. They're probably, broadly speaking, fine. Blueberry muffin is good. A blueberry muffin is tasty. Bagels sound really tasty right now. I have bagels in the fridge. Do I have bagels in the fridge? I have bagel thins in the fridge, which are fine, but they're not bagels. Also, every time we say bagel instead of bagel, Gillian Jacobs dies inside because she doesn't get royalties if we don't say bagel. So, I love it, bagel. Glorious. Oh, Lord. All right. Well, let's see here. I think blueberry bagels are a thing out here. I've never had them, but like everything bagels are a thing, and I've never had an everything bagel. Do you know why I've never had an everything bagel? It's because I'm stupid and or they have terrible branding. I didn't realize that the everything in everything bagel just meant we have like 3 seasonings. I thought it was we have an awful lot of shit. And generally, as a relatively picky eater type person, I don't enjoy things that advertise themselves as we have a lot of shit. Turns out everything bagels just have like 3 seasonings. Okay. Cheddar bagels, I've heard of cheddar bagels. That's, go for that. If folks want dried and then warmed cheese as part of their bagel experience, more power to them. More power to them. Casserole should be a swear word, according to Samurai Sam. That feels a bit extreme, but I understand where it's coming from. You have to be very sure what you're getting with a casserole, and often you aren't because, well, it's kind of the marketing gimmick of the casserole. There is a bagel place directly across the street from Parlor Ghost. Listen, I was about to say that if there was a bagel place directly across the street from me, I would be a gigantic, enormous person, but I recently visited my doctor, and he did let me know that I am a gigantic, enormous person, which I already knew, so there's that. But he referred me to a different doctor who might be able to sweet-talk my insurance company into paying for magic fat melt pills, which actually exist, apparently. Apparently Ozempic is just a magic fat melt pill. Who knew? So, fingers crossed, there might be a slightly less hefty Goog at some theoretical conceivable point in the future. Oh, people have strong opinions on bagels in chat. What am I missing here? Hulkamat has said salt bagels, which have too much salt, that makes sense, are a D tier bagel. Garlic bagels are S tier. I've never had a garlic bagel. That sounds... Garlic is good until the very moment it's bad, at which point it's the worst thing. Like, anything garlic flavored that is bad is not just bad. It's not just, I don't necessarily care for it. It's the worst thing you will ever put in your mouth. But that's just me. Alright, this light blue over here could use... okay. I do have 1,000 road tiles. Let's use all of them, I suppose. Sorry about this, tree. Goodbye, tree. You come all the way down over here. I can't cut this corner for lack of a bridge. You come down here and go there and go up and around into here. And this took 35 road tiles to deliver these 3 things, which we're going to immediately redo. But, it's fine. Here, you come up that way and we'll just redo like so. Hulkamat is going to go get breakfast. Enjoy your bagel. Tell us what you got. Says congratulations on the infinite run, which no, but hopefully one day we might. Let's see here. Oh, good. This nice little red can just it feels kind of silly to have these reds go this way, and you know what? Hold on. Hold this phone. We can do this. We'll run these reds down here. And then these reds right here. Oh, this might be bad for that tree. I wouldn't hold on to my life too dearly if I was that tree. You might be, oh, nope, you're good. That tree is good. Congratulations, that tree. Doot. Ghosty says, as someone who is diabetic and on Trulicity, which is more or less the same thing as Ozempic, but not FDA approved for weight loss, they're slightly different sister drugs that do more or less the same thing. Yeah, my understanding is that Ozempic was supposed to be, and this is just, I'm going to be overgeneralizing and probably mean to people that include myself, but hang on a moment. Generally speaking, Ozempic was developed to treat a medical condition, and then people realized that it's also an excellent appetite suppressant, and they were like, wait a second, we can just sell this as a weight loss drug. Fuck people with legitimate medical conditions. We can just sell this as a weight loss drug. Which, listen, weight loss and legitimate medical condition usually, sometimes, occasionally go hand in hand. But there's a slight marginal difference there, which isn't necessarily being appreciated because there's more money in sell as weight loss drug than as the sell as treat legitimate medical condition drug. So what we need to do is develop a drug for losing weight that also conveniently cures cancer. Although it occurs to me that if such a drug existed, it would just be marketed to people who want to lose weight, and people who have cancer wouldn't be able to get it, which is the case with Ozempic and diabetes. And since I don't have diabetes yet, as a comically enormous person, there's always the chance. But if I don't have diabetes and I get Ozempic, then I'm just perpetuating the problem, and I'm a bad person. Huh. Awesome. Good work. Good job. Well done, Goog. These two reds run over here. That'll be there. This has been the Goog Talks Himself Through a Self-Therapy Session. It was fun for no one. Sam has correctly noted that there is very rarely ethical consumption under capitalism, which, I mean, yes, but also... These 4 reds are going to service this circle. I'd like it if there was another red over here, but it's difficult. These 2 take care of that. These 2 take care of that. These 3 right here swing down that away and do this. Hi there, little blue guy. The fuck are you up to, my blue guy? Yeah, you're fun and good or whatever, but I don't think we should oughta do the no. Let's see here. All right, you go up that way. Oh, it's a stabby stab. I didn't realize it was a stabby stab. I just kind of assumed it was a pill type thing, but you know, not necessarily in love with the idea of a stabby stab. Oh, diabetics, they love those needles, in that they rely on them constantly for medical attention and needs in life. Love those needles. These 4 go up here. Can I just this red house right here is kind of a man without a castle, so to speak. I could loop you down this way. It would be awkward and bad. That's probably the best use for you right now, honestly. Unless I wanted to... Well, if this red goes circular, then I'll have an idea, but... For right now... Yeah, you're just kind of... chilling. Alright, bro, you just kind of chill. These reds need to be redirected because this yellow has come into existence, which is okay, I guess. You know what? Let's do some reconstruction here. Boop and boop. We're gonna do this. Oh, that's a road. For some reason, I thought that was just part of the river. It's not. All right, we're gonna take motorway number 1. We're gonna move it to the northern entrance of this double plaza. And we're gonna take this one, swing up around here. Sam, there was not a civil war because we're actually doing reconstruction. If there was a civil war, we would say that we were doing reconstruction and study it in history books as the time when we fixed all the problems, even though we're not actually fixing problems, we're just enshrining them in law forever. So, yeah. I don't have many 19th century American politics jokes, but I do have Reconstruction was a sham. I got that going for me. Okay. If you go to a restaurant and a mouse runs over your foot, or indeed you see a mouse at any point, it's kind of over for you with that restaurant, which, yeah, I understand that. That makes sense to me. I am terribly sorry that happened, Leah. Oh boy, oh bads. We're gonna ever so slightly redraw motorway number 1 so that we get these 4 involved here. This blue up here is kind of a less than great TBQH. Let's grab a third of this. Yeah, we're gonna grab that. We're gonna sever this connection here. Boop, boop, and boop. All right, we're gonna chop this business off of this. You're gonna come out this way, down like so. You two are gonna boop and then, oh, goodbye, tree. Sorry about that, but needs must, efficiencies and all that. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3 blues go all the way up this way over to here. 1, 2, 3 blues go over that away. Are you fucking kidding me with that? Not actually the end of the world. For you see, we can point this one down here, grab these 2 and this motorway. Motorway number 2 will service this business, and now, boom, right here, we use the bridge that just came into existence. These 2 dark blues service this dark blue business. Okay. That turns out to work basically okay-ishly. Hooray! And now, problem times for this light blue here has gone circular. It's not actually that bad of a problem times when you think about it. For you see, we can do this thing, get a couple light blues swinging down that away, and now we have these 6 plus this one, which makes 7 to support this light blue circle. Is this a very long and stupid road? Yes. Is it gonna have to be fine nonetheless? Also yes. But you know what? It's just a-okay. Hi there, all of the light blues in the world. Do all of the light blues in the world want to spawn right there? Because, listen, I know I said that this was fine, and it broadly speaking is, but if all the light blues in the world, hold on, if all the light blues in the world are going to spawn this way, I'm amenable to changing up my plan things here. Let's take this, run this that away. This will become a perfectly cromulent traffic light. So the 4 of you are suddenly Charles in charge down here of the days and the nights and the light blue circles, which is fine. This thing here with the stupid road doesn't have to do that anymore. You can be a third going over here. That'll be a-okay. Something, you right here, buddy friend, just went circular. Not in love with you. Give me another motorway. So, now we've got interesting problems. You are a green business. You're just going to take that house right there. That should be fine for a while. You're a circle, which I don't love, but if we do... Alright, if we... Hold on. You swing down like that. Boop up to there. This red road here is going to get chop murdered. We'll take these 2 reds here. Draw motorway number 3 down into the... I want you to approach from a nice curvy swoopy angle, so I'm going to wait for that road to go away. Next, we're going to take these 3 houses and hiccup them that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red houses are going to service this circle, and that's going to, broadly speaking, be fine. Now, you come down that way. Love where you spawned. You come here. Leah Fireheart is mad at me for getting the Charles in Charge theme stuck in her head. Listen, Seth MacFarlane got the Charles in Charge theme stuck in my head by putting it on a Family Guy CD. I'm just returning the favor, so to speak. Let's run this road up here, and by doing that, I can run a green road right through here to service this business, take this house back for the maintenance of the circle. There you go. Pop that down this way. This is an awful lot of greens in support of this little square. If this little square wants to go circular, that would be fine. Have no problems whatsoever with that. You come here. I don't know what movie Scarlett Johansson said that's not a favor in. Presumably in Avengers. That seems all quippy and Marvel-y and Whedon-esque. Was that in Avengers or an Iron Man in which she said that? Entirely possible. These 3 light blues are coming down here, taking care of this. That's basically okay. Samurai Sam wants to remember Jay Riso, a.k.a. Christian, a.k.a. Christian Cage, who's still an active dude. Christian Cage, listen. Dude has had a hell of a fucking career. Let's take 2 traffic lights rather than a 5th roundabout. Something just went circular. What was it? What just went circular? It was this red right here. Well, friendo, I don't really have much for you, honestly. I could reroute motorway number 3 and have 4 going into the motorway, but for right now, I think... Oh, she said that's not a party. Yeah, that was in the Avengers, right? I think that was in the Avengers in which she said that. Okay. Hey, motorway number 1 here is kind of kerfucky. It's just a little kerfucky. Let's see here. You come down here. You swing that away. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna make this look a little bit better with the 6 houses. There you go. Okay. So Jay Riso, aka Christian, aka Christian Cage. Probably most famous for his run in WWE as one of the better tag teams they've ever had. He and his storyline brother, who then became storyline best friend when it fell out of vogue to pretend people were brothers. Edge and Christian were one of the better tag teams in WWE, and also it was the Attitude Era. So by being one of the best tag teams at a particularly hot point in the company, they've come to be known as one of the best tag teams WWE has ever had, which is, broadly speaking, true-ish. They were very entertaining. They were very entertaining. They had plenty of good matches. They were great. And listen, both Edge and Christian went on to become world champions. Edge because WWE always loved him and they wanted him to be a world champion, and Christian because he was Edge's partner, and then Edge busted his neck and couldn't wrestle anymore, so they had a storyline where it would be cool if Christian won the world title. And hey, Christian won the world title. And then afterward, well, Christian's a former world champion. So Christian was one of those world champions who never got treated like a world champion by WWE. And they do this, and this is going to devolve into why WWE is bad. First of all, is wrestling a sport? No. That's just... Listen, I know there are plenty of people who are like, professional wrestling's a sport because it's just like gymnastics, and I guess there's a logic there. Professional wrestling is not a sport. Olympic amateur wrestling is a sport. It's essentially a completely different thing. Amateur wrestling is like grappling and there are actual rules and people are actually trying. Professional wrestling is obviously nothing like that. Professional wrestling is not a sport. It is an athletic performance, and it is a very difficult and challenging and good one, and the people who do it should be paid well and have good health care. But professional wrestling is not a sport. Come on, people. Come on. Seriously now. Where was I going with this? Oh, right. So, independent contractors are bad. Every major wrestling company, let me rephrase. The idea of professional wrestlers as independent contractors only works on the independent scene. Modern major promotions like WWE and AEW and New Japan and AAA and CMLL should have at the very least their core talent as company employees. And they don't because of laws and bullshit and capitalism. But anyway, this green right here is going to point down this way, continue servicing this business, which is the most supported little square in the whole entire world. I want an emote that's just a square house on a pile of pillows, making it the most supported square in the whole entire world, because that's a thing I say a lot. Anyway, where was I going with this? Pro wrestling, WWE, bad. Christian. So Edge and Christian are a tag team, and they form in like the 90s, and they're part of this weird vampire stable, and I could talk about Christian's career forever, so we're going to have to speed up some things. But he's part of this weird stable, and then it becomes him and Edge as a tag team, and we're going to pause for just a moment as I try to figure out how to deal with this bad red business. This is a bad red business that's just spawned. This bad red business is in such a bad place. Okay, let's see here. If I were the king of the forest, well, one thing I can do is I can delete this dark blue road and put this blue house and this blue house on this road. This dark blue house, unfortunately, is going to get overfucked in this scenario, but that's going to have to be fine. So these dark blues come up here, and then I'm going to put a traffic light right here. This is a perfectly cromulent traffic light. Sends most of the traffic off this way, not going to interfere too much. Technically, this is running two businesses off of one road, which is, after all, bad, but let's ignore that for now. It's going to be fine. Next. This business here doesn't want to be there. Can I fit? I can indeed fit a roundabout right thereabout. Excellent. By doing this, hold on. Wait. Does this not need to be a roundabout? Maybe this doesn't need to be a roundabout. Let's kill motorway number 3. Let's run boop, boop, boop. You dark blues swing up that way. You two reds go right there. Okay. And now these light blues. Boop. Hold on. I have a bad idea. What if we just stick a roundabout in the middle of goddamned nowhere? We stick a roundabout in the middle of goddamned nowhere, which takes these 3, 1, 2, 3. Incidentally, why not 4? These 4 sources of light blues, and it spits them down here, boop like that, and down here. So now we have 2 reds serve this business. We have these 3 reds right here, which will get a reconstructed motorway number 3 to come over here. We have all the light blues in the world converge on the roundabout and then come down serve this business. That all looks feasible, maybe. Everybody loves a feasible-baby, right? Well, this is all feasible-baby. Now, oh boy. Okay. You know what? This blue circle has gone circular, but I think it's broadly speaking gonna be fine. For you see, what I can do is run this road up here, slap a traffic light right there, and now this is 7 blues for 7 brothers. No, for one one of these. 7 Blues for 7 Brothers is the title of the episode. Imagine that. All right. Let's take ourselves another motorway because I don't have any motorways or bridges. So Edge and Christian are a tag team in WWE, which is the WWF at the time, but we're just going to call it WWE because fuck it. So Edge and Christian are a tag team in WWE, and they're good, and they're popular, and they're successful. However, as with all tag teams in WWE, because Vince McMahon is a person who doesn't like tag teams, they are inevitably doomed to break up, which they do. This dark blue over here, by the way, we're going to do that, and then perfectly chromed traffic light right here. That's going to be ever so slightly better. I killed this motorway so that I could get that house pointed back into it. You service that like so. Okay. You are presently 3 houses taking care of a circle, which is not enough houses for a circle, honestly. But also, speaking of butts and problems, I think we're going to have to be a little bit... We're going to have to notice that I've got this clump of dark blues up here and this just dying mass of dark blue humanity going on up this way. So let's kill all of this and also that. We're going to add these 2 light blues to the front end of this here, just to save me a few road tiles. You can go up there into the roundabout. Thank you very much. So now all of these dark blues here are going to serve this circle, which is better for that circle. And these 3 dark blues here are going to serve this square, because I just realized that that's a thing. Actually, hold on. Can this house serve this square all by its very own personal self? Did I just reclaim a motorway? I might have just reclaimed a motorway. Holy crap. Good job, Goog. So Edge and Christian are a tag team, and they're very successful. However, eventually, as is the fate of all tag teams, they must break up because Vince McMahon hates tag teams and doesn't think he can draw money with them. So the point of tag teams is to create 2 singles stars, or 1 single star, which is what they wanted to do. They wanted Edge to be a single star, and Christian was just kind of there. So they break up, and they feud, and they have a match, and it kind of sucks, because it turns out that Edge and Christian, despite being legitimate lifelong friends, don't have that great in-ring chemistry in 2001. So, they have a feud, and it kind of sucks, and then they don't fight for a while, and then they team up once again for like 1 match, and then they have another feud, and it sucks, and then, they're both baby faces and kind of friends, and Edge fucks his neck. Rewind. 2005-ish, Christian, having, gotten his little mid-card push as a heel, is actually getting really fucking over. Because Christian, it turns out, is fucking great. Christian's amazing. However, WWE doesn't want to push Christian because Vince McMahon is a stupid person who doesn't see money in him. So Vince McMahon doesn't want to push Christian, but Christian's getting really fucking over. So he keeps just kind of worming his way up the card because he's really great and he's really over and he's really good at getting himself inserted into it progressively higher up the card spots. And it gets to a point where it's like, okay, Christian is clearly breaking out here, right? Christian is clearly busting through as a legitimate heel challenger for the world champion or something, right? Wrong. He gets traded to another show, which is a thing that WWE does. They just move guys from one show to the other, and immediately pushed back down the card. Like, immediately. He's starting to break out as a near main eventer on Raw, so they move him to SmackDown and beat him into the fucking ground, because how dare you get over when we didn't intend for you to get over, you stupid Canadian fuck. This is what WWE does to people. Vince McMahon is a stupid person, and his son-in-law is just like him. But anyway, let's re-kill motorway number 2 and see if these 2 houses can now support this business. That would be nice. I would like it if you could do that. Here, you come that way. This light blue circle here is angry despite the fact that I came up with the brilliant solution problem I did here. Rude. How dare you? I'm kind of surprised that all of the greens on the map are hanging out as well as they are, because all of the greens on the map are not having half of the green houses on the map, but I digress. Oh, now you're happy so you've gone circular? Man, fuck the fuck out of you. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? All right, so you come down this way, you go up that way. That's going to have to be fine. You are still mad. Fuck. How do I unmad you? That's a good question. Can I sneak around about in here? No, I cannot. Okay. You're also mad. Starting to think that all of the light blues in the world might just be mad at me about stuff. That's bad. You come that way. You sneak your way down this way. Here, you point that away so that you're not blocking traffic from this way. You know what? This business has so much fucking support, it's gonna have to be fine. It's actually just fine. You're lying. Anytime you say that you might not have enough Housel support or whatever, you're fucking lying, you prick. Now, you know what? These, give me a motorway. These three right here are not presently doing anything, and this one right over here is fucking dying. So, let's take motorway number 2, slide you in like so. So the three of you come down here, support that. That's all going to be totally fine. So Christian's getting over as a heel, and then they move him to SmackDown and beat him into the dirt because how dare he fucking get over when they didn't intend for him to get over. So he leaves, and he goes to TNA, which is a thing that a person can do, and I'm sure he made some money. And he goes to TNA, and he becomes their world champion because there's nothing TNA loves more than a failed WWE mid-carder on whom they can put their world title. The fact that Christian wasn't really failed and was in fact excellent was a convenient thing, and it was good for them. And I guess Christian could be an example of a guy who WWE was misusing that TNA put their world title on, but also Christian walked in the door as a former WWE mid-carder and was TNA's world champion within like a month. Also, additionally, here's a true fact about Christian Cage in TNA. Christian Cage won, and lost again the TNA World Championship before he lost his first match. The first time Christian Cage lost a match in TNA was the second time Christian Cage lost the world title in TNA. TNA is stupid, is what I'm saying. Up until like 3 months ago, this would have been TNA was stupid and Impact is its successor or whatever, but no, Impact was so stupid that they went back to calling themselves TNA, despite the fact that TNA spent 10 years building a brand reputation of being so goddamn stupid. Incidentally, good job, Samurai Sam. 4,770. Drop those Samurai Slams in the chat, but also 4446 is nothing to sneeze at. And I beat Parlor Ghost. Yay! All right, we'll bring back the Wordle thing. So Christian eventually comes back to WWE, as you do, and he's hanging around in the mid card, and then he kind of becomes friends with Edge, and Edge is the world champion, and they're kind of friends again. And then Edge fucks his neck, and they have to vacate the world title because Edge's neck is fucked. So, oh hey, there's a Kill It With Fire 2. Just saw that on the Steam Specials pop-up, which in general is an annoying thing that I don't like, but I wish Steam wouldn't have a dedicated pop-up window just to advertising to me every time I open not just the Steam app, but indeed any game in Steam. I wish that wasn't a thing. But at the same time, oh hey, there's a Kill It With Fire 2. And now I know. So that's lovely. It is not place, but there is an E at the end of it. That's fine. So Christian becomes the world champion because, well, he was Edge's friend and Edge was the world title, and it would be kind of cool if Christian became world champion now, and that's pretty much exactly what happened. And this is what started this derailment, by the way. Christian was one of those world champions that WWE never treated like a world champion because, in their infinite knowledge, they had 2 world, and I hope you can hear the air quotes around that, world championships. It kind of made sense when they had like separate brands. like Raw and SmackDown for a while just had totally separate rosters, and it was very, 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 very rare for a Raw guy to show up on SmackDown. In those times, it made sense, sort of, for there to be a guy who's the champion on Raw and a guy who's the champion on SmackDown, and every 6 months or so they might cross paths, and you'll be like, ooh, what if the world champion The Undertaker had a match against the WWE champion Batista? Oh, it's a shame that they're on different shows or whatever. That sort of thing. That kind of made sense. However, by the time Christian became the world champion, they had just mushed all the rosters together, and everybody was on every show. So you had the WWE champion, who was the main event guy who was in the main event segments, who was all over the main events of shit. And then you also had the world heavyweight champion, which isn't the WWE championship, but also isn't the Intercontinental Championship. Is higher than that, but it's not as high as that. So, yeah. WWE was bad and dumb and continues to be bad and dumb because Vince McMahon was a crazy person and his son-in-law is just like him. It could be Rouse. I think it was just Rouse like last week, so it's not going to be, wow, that was an unhelpful second word. Good job, Goog. So Christian's one of those world champions who WWE just continuously beats the hell out of because, one, he's not the WWE champion, so they're not investing the future of the company in him, and two, he has the world title. He'll be fine. He can lose this match. The crowd will still care about him. He's the world champion. Then you repeat this 6 weeks in a row, and 6 weeks later, why isn't Christian over? He's the world champion. We've pushed him to the moon, and he isn't over? Huh. This Christian guy must fucking suck. We better get the world title off of that loser. Then they get the world title off of him, and now he's ruined. Welcome to being a champion in WWE. But anyway, so yeah, Christian won the world title in WWE multiple times, and then, unfortunately, he fucked his head. He had like a whole fuckload of concussions for several years, and eventually his doctors were like, dude, you gotta stop doing this whole wrestling thing. It's bad for your brain. And he was mad about that for a while, and he kept trying to not be done with the wrestling. But eventually his doctors won out, and he was like, okay, fine, I won't do wrestling anymore. It's bad for my brain, right? So this could be binge. Could absolutely be, well... So Edge's neck is fucked and Christian's head is fucked, and it's kind of sad because they're both dudes who were in their like early mid 40s, and there are plenty of their contemporaries who are still wrestling, but they just drew the short end of the stick, right? Well, several years go by, some healing happens, and Edge takes a tumble on his bike and is like, wait a second, I just took a tumble on my bike and my neck doesn't hurt. That's weird. Given that the last time I saw anyone about my neck, they told me not to do a single wrestling thing. Because if I did a single wrestling thing, my neck, which is a toothpick, might snap. This appears not to have happened. Interesting. I wonder if my neck is no longer a toothpick. So he goes to his doctors, and his doctors are like, yeah, your neck's no longer a toothpick. It turns out that not wrestling for like 7 years is a great way to heal all those injuries you got from wrestling. And Edge is like, does this mean I can wrestle? And they're like, yeah, I guess. So Edge comes back. Royal Rumble 2020, Edge comes back, and it's all great and awesome or whatever. And also, all this time, Christian is still on the sidelines because his head is fucked. However, he feels fine. He looks at Edge, and Edge is doing fine. Edge's neck remains unfucked. He goes to his doctors, Christian does, and says, hey, wait a second. Is my head not fucked? And they look at him and they give him some brain tests or whatever, and they're like, yeah, your head's no longer fucked. And he says, does this mean I can wrestle? And they say, maybe? So Christian goes to WWE and is like, hey, WWE, I can wrestle, maybe. And WWE says, what do you mean maybe? And Christian says, this doctor says I can wrestle, maybe. And WWE's like, we heard that maybe. You can't wrestle, but we have an idea. So Edge came back at Royal Rumble 2020, right? And this is January 2020, when the world was normal-ish. So he was in like the Astrodome, and there were 1,000 million people there, and he got pyro and ballyhoo and whatnot, and the cameras missed his entrance because WWE's bad, and the cameras missed his first move because WWE's bad. But still, he got the entrance and he got the pop and all of that, whatever, in 2020. And then they had the idea, well, if Edge came back in 2020 and he's in the 2021 Royal Rumble, wouldn't it be great if Christian was in the 2021 Royal Rumble? So Christian got a big dramatic return in the 2021 Royal Rumble. Unfortunately for Christian, this is, man, just kind of the story of Christian's career. Edge got his big return in a baseball stadium with 1,000 billion people and pyro and ballyhoo and all that. But 2021 in January was still the plague times. So Christian got his big return in a warehouse in front of some video screens with a couple dozen people in attendance, all of whom were wrestling at the time. So, yeah. But Christian got his big return, and he's in the Royal Rumble, and he doesn't win the Royal Rumble because it's Christian. Come on. Also, WWE won't let him wrestle. So WWE won't let him wrestle. He thinks he can wrestle. He's got a doctor who says he can wrestle, maybe. And he goes to AEW. And AEW's like, let's get you to another doctor. And this other doctor says, no, you can fucking wrestle. And Christian's like, thank you. And he's wrestled for AEW pretty well, like selectively. He doesn't wrestle every single week or anything, but he's had plenty of matches. He's great now. Like, he's always had a good mind. He's turned into one of the best wrestling minds there is. Dude can craft a match like nobody's business. He's had great storylines. He's gotten himself massively over as this hated heel asshole figure. And he's fucking great. And then, let's see here. This could be, it can't be mince because there's no N or C for that matter. It could be pithy. No, it can't be pithy. There's a Y, not an E. Also, there's no P. It could be mithe. Is mithe the word? No. Could it be tithe? Do I have to give 10% of my wordles to God? If it's tithe, I have to give 10% of my wordles to God! Fuck! No. I only get 5.4 guesses for the rest of my life. Parlor Ghost asks, what makes a good pro wrestler? Is it improv ability, crafting a fight, charisma, athleticism? Ghosty, the answer to that question is yes. So, when I say that Christian Cage has become one of the best minds for pro wrestling, Christian can lay out a match in a way that makes sense. Like, you want to stage a match like you would choreograph a fight, right? You want to get the crowd invested. You want to get all of the emotion in that. You want to have everything mean as much as it can, and it builds to a crescendo, and there's this natural climax, and then the finish happens, and everybody's happy or sad or angry or whatever, right? You want to choreograph the fight in such a way that it goes the way you want it to. And some wrestlers are really fucking bad at laying out matches. Some wrestlers are just like, I can do these 5 moves. I want to do these 5 moves. Why don't I just do these 5 moves and win? And listen, sometimes that's fine. You can get over doing that. Rob Van Dam's made a 30-year career out of getting his shit in. But sometimes there's more to it than that. If you want to be a truly, like, all-around excellent professional wrestler, you've got to be able to craft a match. You've got to be able to do the match, which is the athleticism and the natural physical charisma, and a little bit of it is just cosmetic, like looking the part. If you want to be a super duper top tier star, you've got to be able to improv both in the mic and in the moment. Because if you've laid out a match and you're in front of a crowd and it's not working, and the crowd clearly wants either the match to go in a different direction or this certain spot to happen, you've got to be able to call in the ring. You've got to be able to say, listen, this isn't working. Why don't we just do something else, right? I just saw a TikTok the other day from EC3. And listen, EC3 is a dog shit wrestler, but EC3 was an up-and-coming young babyface in WWE, but he was on NXT, and we've talked about NXT, and he was having a match with Dean Ambrose, and Dean Ambrose was WWE's name for the wrestler you now know as Jon Moxley. So EC3 and Jon Moxley are having this match, and the idea is that Moxley, who had just recently turned heel, is gonna be the dick and the bad guy, and he's gonna dominate the match, and then the plucky young babyface EC3 is gonna overcome all of this and win, right? And they're in the ring, and they're having the match, and the crowd's just not fucking into it, because they know and love Dean Ambrose, and they don't fucking know who this EC3 guy is. So they want Dean Ambrose to win. And eventually, Dean Ambrose just kind of gets EC3 down on the mat, and he holds him in a headlock, and they actually start talking to each other and communicating as wrestlers do in the ring. And Ambrose says, listen, buddy, this just isn't working. Do you just want to switch it up? And EC3 goes, yeah. And they switch it up. And then, just over the course of the match, EC3 starts wrestling like the heel. He starts cheating. He starts, dominating the match and overpowering. And suddenly, the crowd's really fucking into it. The crowd's into it. They're popping for Ambrose's comebacks and all of that stuff. And then, they get to the finish they're supposed to, and EC3 still wins, but they got the crowd super into the match, and they actually established something, and they felt like they had something going there. And EC3 and Dean Ambrose are really happy with themselves. They've gotten the crowd to where they want, to where the crowd was invested in the match. They get back behind the curtain, and Vince McMahon tears them a new asshole because EC3 was supposed to be the babyface, and he worked the match as a heel. Related, EC3 flamed out in WWE and never amounted to anything. WWE squandered Dean Ambrose for several years until he left the company, went to AEW, and became the best professional wrestler in the world. Vince McMahon was a stupid idiot, and his son-in-law is just like him. So anyway, Christian Cage is excellent. Is the point of this Let's Remember a Guy. Christian Cage is wonderful. It is 7:52, and there are other things I wanted to do. Let's play Connections. Okay, we've got column is a thing that's in a newspaper, but it's also a pole and a column and a pillar. These are all vertical, holdy things, uppy things, and a post. There you go. Those are all vertical support structures. Support structure. There you go. Support structure is the technical, literal term for a holdy things uppy thing. Which, okay. All right. Let's see here. Sam got the purple first, which is interesting. You can hold someone's interest. Interesting. Holdy things, uppy thing. I don't know. I kind of like to give 10% of your wardles to God, but I also like 7 blues for 7 brothers. Oh, Lord. All right. Okay. Intelligence, information, dirt, and secrets. These are all things you can gather and shit, possibly subtle shit you can know about a person, right? Yeah? Gathered by spies. There you go. Yeah, garter belts. Those are also holdy things, uppy things, right? That's true. That's a true fact about women's clothing. So, if you can, if you have a share, a stake, a percentage, or an interest in a thing, it means you own a hunk of it. There. And you can mind, follow, observe, and regard, which just means pay attention to something. Right? Hooray! You heed as rules. Yes! Hooray, Connections! Connections might have actually gotten a little tiny bit easier, which is good, because connections used to be bullshit. And now it's ever so slightly less bullshit. It's true. Anyone can wear a garter belt. That's a true fact about gender not-specific clothing. There. So the Strands theme today is the long run, and the word marathon is right here. So there's your spangram. There's your spangram right there. What other long runs might we have here? This is no, it's not spectate, it's not spectacle. Spectade is not a word, so interesting. It's not special or spectator or anything like that. I'm going to get away from this and we'll come back to it later. It's probably not rain. It might be train. Nope. Okay. I don't see a Q, so it can't be quatrain, which is a shame. ITION. Tuition? Interesting. And tuition. No. Sam sees trainer somewhere. Ah, here we go. Trainer. Bingo. And this thing I saw here that was trition is specifically nutrition. TION. Bingo. And that means that this is track. And somewhere down here we might... Oh, no, we don't have field. Oh, shame. That could have been part of the this and that spangram thing, Strands game the other day. So over here we have... well, I see core, which is just a word. I see cur, but I can't get to... Yeah, the A and the G are in the wrong place, so... GROU, there's no P, there's no T. Huh. Normally, this deep into a Strands game, it's just connecting the obvious dots. And listen, there are dots here, but... Oh, Ghosty saw course. There you go. Like a race course. Okay. So this has got to be... Oh, just gait, like a runner's gait, like how you run. Okay. That makes sense. And then... So there are two words in here. Well, no. 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 Cade. Spicade. No. Yeah, we don't know these running words. How dare these runners have special words? Speed. Speed? Go speed. Oh, yeah, speed. He's going the distance. He's going for speed. And then he's setting the pace. Okay. Good job. Yay. It's a perfect Strands game. Leah is not a fan of running. And listen, I'm a comically enormous person, so I can't run pretty much at all. It would be bad. It would be bad. Treadmills are fine or whatever. They're better than outside. Outside is... Sam failed to be immaculate today, possibly because of a fucking first-round draft pick column. How dare you exist, first-round draft pick column? All right, we need Pirates and Guardians and Rangers and White Sox, dudes who were first-round draft picks and dudes who had 200 or more hits in a season. A first-round draft pick who played for the Pittsburgh Pirates is Craig Hansen, former Red Sox first-round draft pick and ultra bust Craig Hansen also played for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now then, Guardian, who was a first-round draft pick, is, I don't fucking know. Did Rocco Baldelli play for the Guardians? I feel like Rocco Baldelli played for no. I feel like Grady Sizemore was a first-round draft pick. That's wrong. Fuck you, first-round draft pick column. I hate you. A Ranger who was a first-round draft pick is Michael Young. Maybe? No. Blast and curse you. Listen, if you can run a marathon or train for a marathon, more power to you. Our friend Jeebus42's sister has done a marathon, and therefore I have just the tiniest hint of knowledge of the things that happen to your body when you run a marathon, and, no. No thank you. I'd rather not. One of the best players of our lifetime hits multiple squares here. I mean, it's probably A-Rod. Alex Rodriguez, were you a first-round draft pick? Yes, you were. Good for you. Bully for you, you shit-bagging fuck. Juan Gonzalez never had 200 hits in a season. Well, you know what? Rafael Palmeiro did. You dipshit. Kenny Lofton had 200 hits in a season. Kenny Lofton was an all-time great professional baseball player who should be in the fucking Hall of Fame. Roberto Clemente was a historically great Pittsburgh Pirate. He was one of, like, 3. Kenny Lofton played for all of these teams and may well have been a first-round draft pick. Who the fuck knows? A White Sox player who was a Guardian is Mr. James Thom, and that is a not-so-immaculate grid. But fuck you, first-round draft pick column! You're the worst thing ever. Did Ghosty ever tell me about the stair climb she did at Monarch Place? No. I'm guessing you climbed a lot of stairs at Monarch Place. I used to climb stairs at Monarch Place because I used to work at Monarch Place. And if you know where Monarch Place is, now you know where I used to work. And if you don't Google it. It's a command I give you. Now, that is going to be the end of today's episode. Fingers crossed it is a full streaming schedule for the rest of the week. The premiere episode, by the way, of Great Ace Attorney Chronicles is coming to YouTube noon Eastern today. That should be a lot of fun. Folks, thank you all so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the Kenny Lofton highway to the danger zone. Bye.